Hello folks, Everchanger here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Yellow. Last time we made our way here to the not green, thank god, city of Saffron, and we did some exploring here, but we also found out that a lot of stuff is going to be blocked off to us until we can oust Team Rocket from the city. So, this time, we are going to be checking out Silph Company office building. And for whatever reason, of all the buildings you think that they would be guarding, these Team Rocket guys, this one's unguarded. You can just walk right in. Now, I want you guys to get really used to this music because we're going to be hearing it for a while. But the nice thing about this dungeon, and why I actually like it above some of the other dungeons in the game, there are no wild Pokemon, which I am super excited about. It looks like there are no trainers or anything on the first floor. Now, first thing of note, right in here we have this elevator right here. Oh wow, it actually works. For some reason I thought it didn't work. I guess we need a keycard for something else. There's a keycard in this dungeon, and I think... oh, I know what it does. It opens up closed doors. Now, the way I usually approach Silph Company is I explore the entire thing as much as I can without taking any warp tiles and without opening up any doors, and then I go back through the building again to cover it that way. So that is the way I'm going to be approaching taking out this dungeon here, because I would like to battle as many trainers as I possibly can in here, and I believe, not counting boss fights, there are 30 trainers in Silph Company. That's a lot of experience that you cannot get if you oust Team Rocket from this building without fighting them first. So yeah, you definitely want to take out as many trainers as you can on your initial visit, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, I've been thinking about why on earth the levels were rebalanced in such an odd way for this game, and I think I figured it out. Once again, I think it's because of the anime, because unlike in the games, Ash waltzed right into Saffron City pretty much right after Vermilion, I think, and was able to fight Sabrina pretty much immediately. So I think he fought Sabrina either as his 4th or 5th gym battle instead of the 6th, which would be the order from the game. So I think that's why they rebalanced Koga to be so much more powerful in Yellow, because in the TV show Ash fought him later, and therefore if the player were to follow a similar line of thought, he would be fighting Sabrina first and then Koga. So I think that's the reason why. Not saying I like the reason, I'm just saying that's the reason why. So it looks like that philosophy has been carried over into Silph Company right here, because we got some Pokemon here that are pretty low leveled compared to what we've seen before. But hopefully they'll still be able to get us a decent amount of experience going forth here. And ideally I'm hoping we'll see a couple of evolutions in this dungeon, because Wartortle's pretty close to evolving, and, who was it? Ivysaur? Yeah, that's who it is. Not too terribly far behind, so hopefully we'll be seeing a couple of evolutions on those fronts, because I think we're pretty overdue for them. Anyway, I'm going to switch back over to Pikachu, because Thunderbolt is the greatest move ever. And there we go. And the nice thing is, Thunderbolt is objectively better than Thunder in this game, in my opinion, because Weather was not introduced until Generation 2, so it is impossible to get that guaranteed hit on Thunder in Generation 1. So, something definitely to keep in mind. It's kind of weird. Weather's one of those things that I've been used to having in the games forever because I started with Generation 2, but it's not in Generation 1. Really interesting. No kids are allowed in here. Well, I'm technically 21 playing this game, so, I mean, I suppose that counts. Yep, I am a fully fledged 100% able to drink alcohol adult, and I still play Pokemon because I feel like it. And you can judge me all you want, I don't care. Anyway, we got a Cubone right here, so I think this will be a good opportunity for Ivysaur to get a little bit of experience. And there we go. Now, I am recording this I think it's the day after the Nintendo Direct aired, the April 12th Nintendo Direct, so I figured I might as well give my thoughts on a few of the things that were discussed. Now, they talked about a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff in this Nintendo Direct. Like, it was crazy. Like, I think they talked about a dozen games in the first 6 or 7 minutes of this thing. Like, it was pretty impressive, and they gave a lot of actual factual dates for things, which I'm really, really happy about. The worst thing about Nintendo Directs is when they're like, here's a non-committal release quarter for a whole bunch of games. It's like, okay. But this time we got a lot of exact dates for things, and I thought that was awesome. Like, I was so happy that they decided to go that route. So, first things first, they started off with the Nintendo 3DS, which I was expecting them to talk about. Like, a lot of people didn't think they were going to talk about the 3DS a whole bunch, but I figured they probably had a lot of little things that they wanted to get off their chest. Now, I thought it was interesting, the only first-party games announced for the 3DS during this conference were Kirby games, which I thought was interesting, but then if you look back at the history of Kirby games, a lot of times they are released near the tail end of hardware cycles. In fact, I'm pretty sure Kirby Mass Attack, which was a DS game, I think that game actually came out after the 3DS was launched. If not, then it was very close. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that Nintendo is planning on retiring the 3DS pretty soon and just going all in on the Switch, but it's really nice that they didn't just drop it immediately after the Switch launched, because a lot of loyal 3DS customers don't have the money to spend on a Switch, so I figured that was probably pretty good. One thing I really liked about what they announced for the 3DS is they announced quite a few localizations. They announced localizations of Monster Hunter Stories, Miitopia, RPG Maker Fez, Bye Bye Box Boy, Yokai Watch 3rd version, I mean Yokai Watch 2, like the 3rd version, think Crystal to Gold and Silver. And I just found out about this. Turns out, Dr. Kawashima's Devilish Brain Training was never released in Europe until they announced a release date during this Direct, and I'm like, wow, it took them long enough, because that game is old. Like, that game's been out in Japan for a long time. Like, I'm really not sure what was up with that. But yeah, they announced quite a few dates. They announced the launch date of the Pikmin game, which I'm really not sure if I'm interested in, really, and Sonic Boom. Oh, Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. Ay. So, yeah, they announced the launch date of that Pikmin game. It comes out on July 28th, and they also announced that it's coming with an amiibo, which kind of makes me a little disappointed, because the amiibo's really cute, but I have zero interest in the game. Like, absolutely zero interest in the game, although I guess, to be fair, if it's anything like the Animal Crossing amiibo, this amiibo is going to be very easy to find and very cheap in a few months after launch, because I've seen Animal Crossing amiibo on shelves for like $2 each. It's kinda sad, actually, because a lot of them are cute. I just don't want the games that they're used in. I mean, I already own Animal Crossing New Leaf, but I don't own Happy Home Designer, and I'm kind of averse to buying new 3DS stuff at this point, I guess, because I already own the Switch, and I know that's going to be their priority going forward. Also, I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but after playing Breath of the Wild on the Switch and then going back to play Pokémon Sun on the 3DS, it's almost physically painful to look at because the resolution is so low. It's kind of crazy how much of a quantum leap the Switch is in terms of the handheld portion of it. It still continues to impress me, and it's just a really nice piece of hardware. Anyway, another game that they also announced was getting localized that I did not think was getting localized, because apparently it did not do very well in Japan, is Monster Hunter Stories. As you can probably guess by the types of games I tend to play on my channel, I'm a pretty big fan of role-playing games, so it was really cool to see that Monster Hunter Stories is getting localized, but again, I'm really conflicted about it because it's not coming out until, like, the winter time of this year. And, like, by then, ARMS will be out, Splatoon 2 will be out, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will be out, Mario Odyssey will be out, and hopefully Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will be out, so something tells me, even though this is a game that I've been really interested in, it's just coming too late, and I probably won't be bothered to pick it up, which is unfortunate. But I mean, that's just... I feel like a lot of people who own a Switch already are going to approach the Nintendo 3DS lineup in that way. And I think Nintendo realizes that because they haven't really announced very many big guns for the 3DS this year. Like, it was all really, really little things. Not counting the Kirby game, I guess, because they did announce that there was like a full, legit multiplayer Kirby game coming out to the 3DS this winter, which I think is pretty major, but other than that, I don't know about the whole 3DS thing. I think it's going to get depreciated pretty quickly, especially since Nintendo's having a hard time even keeping the Switch in stock. It sounds like they've really got a hit on their hands. And he gives up, because of course he does. Alright, we got quite a few hallways here to explore. I think we'll fight... Oh, you know, you don't fight us. I work for Silph. What should I do? Do these heal you? They do not. There are beds somewhere in Silph Company that will heal you. I have no clue where they are. Also, I should note there are quite a few items in the building, and I believe there are exactly 2 hidden items. I'm hoping I'll be able to get a hold of them both, but I don't have my list up at the moment because I have a list of all the stuff that was confirmed in the Direct for the moment, but once we're done talking about that, probably next episode I can bring up my list to make sure we don't miss anything too terribly critical. Anyway, another game that they announced a release date for was Ever Oasis, which they announced really randomly last year during Nintendo Treehouse at E3. And again, it's one of those games that looks interesting, but I have a feeling that Switch stuff is going to be captivating my interest, but I know a couple of people that are really intrigued by Ever Oasis, so I feel like that could be a decent seller as of right now. Also, another thing that they announced was Bye Bye Box Boy was actually getting released the day of the Direct. I own the first Box Boy game, and I've played, I want to say, most of it, although every time I think I'm getting close to the end, it just keeps going. So I don't know how close to the end I actually am. But, yeah, I was really intrigued by the fact that they just dropped that on us. One thing I was really disappointed about, though, in Japan, there's an amiibo of the main character in that game whose name is QB, and there is also a physical release of the game that has all 3 Box Boy titles on it. And I was kind of sad that they didn't bring that over, because I probably would have bought it at some point, because it's just really, really fun. Now, it's not a hidden item in here, is it? I could have sworn there was a hidden item in a flower pot somewhere in this building, but the building is just so darn huge I don't know which one it is. But yeah, Box Boy is a game that I didn't really have it on my radar until they showed it off at E3 2015, I think it was. And it was really, really great, and I liked it, and I bought it pretty much immediately. And I had a lot of fun with it, but I haven't played the later 2 games, so I think I might hold out a little bit longer to see if they release their physical compilation. But considering they didn't release it here, I'm doubtful it will get localized, which is really, really unfortunate. But yeah, speaking of amiibo, they also confirmed the final Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, and I was pretty surprised. They actually announced 2 of each. You can have male and female Corrin, you can have Bayonetta's design from either the first or second game, and you can also have either Classic Cloud or Advent Children Cloud, which I thought was really intriguing, and I have a feeling a lot of people who don't own a 3DS or a Wii U or are interested in Smash Bros. At all, but are really big fans of Final Fantasy, are probably going to buy that amiibo, and I think that's a really good move on Nintendo's part, because like people are going to be buying this amiibo that don't really care about the game itself at all, which is really interesting. It's definitely an intriguing way to widen the audience, I'll give them that much. But yeah, I was also surprised that they announced them for a release July 21st, I think they're coming out. I want to say it's July 21st they're coming out. And I thought it was weird how they announced that, and they didn't announce a Smash Brothers port for the Switch, although I have a feeling they're probably saving that for E3, because honestly, whether or not you put stock in the rumors about its existence, I feel like it would be highly foolish of Nintendo to not release a port of Super Smash Bros. For the Switch, and I think it's also pretty clear, like, why on earth would they wait so long to release these amiibo if they weren't holding them back to keep interest in Smash Bros. For whatever reason? Because the final Smash Bros. DLC came out in early 2016, but the amiibos aren't coming out until July of 2017. Like, I feel like that long of a wait really isn't warranted if they aren't planning on porting the game. It's a Pokemon report. 4 Pokemon evolve only when traded by link cable. Very interesting. It's a Pokemon report. Over 160 Pokemon techniques have been confirmed. I'm pretty sure by now there's over 700 moves in the game. So, like, as of Generation 7, pretty insane. It's a Pokemon report. Pokemon Lab created Porygon, the first virtual reality Pokemon. Very intriguing indeed. What? There shouldn't be any children here? Oh, I love this guy. But yeah, those aren't the only amiibo they announced. They also announced 3 more Link amiibo, which is kind of insane because I think there's like 11 Link amiibo at this point. It's ridiculous. They announced Link amiibo for Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword, which I think is really, really cool. But honestly, as someone who's actually looked at some of the data that's been mined from Breath of the Wild, I think it was pretty clear that these amiibo were coming. Although I'm a little unfortunate that the Majora's Mask Link wasn't made in the form of the Fierce Deity. My logic behind that, I'm not going to elaborate for spoiler purposes, but yeah, I'm really disappointed it wasn't the Fierce Deity. It's just regular old Child Link, which I guess is fine, but I wanted a Fierce Deity amiibo. But yeah, there's the Smash Brothers Link amiibo, there's the Wolf Link amiibo, and then there's Link amiibo for Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword. So that's 7 already. Then there's the Classic Link, which is 8. Like, there's at least 8 Link amiibo, and that's insanity. I personally only own 2 of them. I own the Smash Brothers one and the Wolf Link one. And amiibo are that kind of thing where it's like, the character has to be someone I'm really interested in to get the amiibo, because honestly... Oh wow, there it is! There's the Hidden Elixir. Nice. The amiibo hobby is something that I feel like I just cannot get into because it's too expensive. But yeah, I think we're going to end things off here actually, because we're already 18 minutes into this video. So yeah, this past episode of Pokemon Yellow, we began our infiltration of the Silph Company, and we also discussed the Nintendo Direct. Partially. And next time on Pokemon Yellow, we're going to be continuing our conquest through Silph Company, and we're probably going to be discussing the Switch half of the Nintendo Direct presentation. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
Polygon CG ポケモン高さ 0.8 メートル重さ 36.5 キログラム最高の科学力を使いついに人工のポケモンを作ることに成功した